Hello everybody and welcome to the close of Season 4. These are the final 2 races. And if you wonder, Joe, why are you sticking both those races together? All will become clear by the end of this video. But for now, we are down under in Australia, trying to get through Q1, mate. That's the worst accent I've ever done, and I will probably get cancelled for it, and deservedly so. But anyway, first things first, we are here in Australia for this Australian Grand Prix, the race which I can wrap up the Season 4 World Championship. First things first though, we got to do well in qualifying. It is crucial to do so. There are 35 points between me and Leclerc, so if I've worked out the math correctly, I need to finish third without Leclerc getting the fastest lap, and if I get third in the fastest lap, I have won the title. If I get second, I am champion. And this is if Leclerc wins, obviously. I don't have the logistics to work out, well, in my brain to work out all the other ways it can happen, but third or the fastest with the fastest lap or second will do. Unless Leclerc, neither me or Leclerc, don't get the fastest lap, in which case P3 will do on countback. So, here we are then, in this Australian Grand Prix. We are in Q3 now, and it's the first time actually in Australia that I've got into Q3, believe it or not. Wow, I've had some lackluster performances in qualifying rounds here, but it's the first time that in qualifying we've made it into the top 10 shootout. And I am now pushing as hard as I can to try and get a decent qualifying position. P4 so far. It ended up being P7 with Leclerc in P3. So the Red Bull's locking out the front row. That's good news for me because it means I don't have to finish quite as high to win the championship. And I think if it finished like that, I would still win the title. So that would do just fine.
Welcome to Melbourne. You can hear the roar of the crowd out there, which can only mean one thing. Race day is upon us. We go racing today then in the state of Victoria, where the drivers have 16 corners and 3.3 miles to navigate at an average lap speed of around 120 miles an hour. The close proximity of the barriers makes accidents inevitable, and recent history shows us that a safety car is not at all out of the question. It's race day yet again, and joining me for a chat, Anthony Davidson. And our racers are certainly in for a rough day today. What will you be watching for as they go down into turn 1?
Well, the start of the race is always one of the most nerve-wracking parts. You have to hope that everyone is able to get off to a clean start, and this is possibly the trickiest part of the entire race. So many drivers in such a small space, and finding your braking point into turn 1 as well. It's a testament to the driver's skill that there aren't more incidents.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. George Russell did very well in qualifying yesterday and will start today's race from pole position. And Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Gasly, Carlos Sainz and Bottas, Joker, Tsunoda, Norris and Antonio Giovinazzi, Stroll, Schwartzman, Esteban Ocon and Vettel, Eilert, Joe, Christian Lundgaard and Mick Schumacher, Mazepin, Latifi, Markelov and Daniel Ricciardo fills the last spot on the grid. And now...
But why would I settle for that when I can do it taking an even better result? So here we are on the grid, it's lights out and away we go. A little bit of wheel spin there. Look at the start Tsunoda's got. He has absolutely creamed me off the start there, and I think Lando Norris coming up round me outside, he actually got better momentum down the straight, and into the corner though, we were able to nip Yuki Tsunoda for P7. I do apologise for the skip. Recording on PlayStation sometimes does it. I've no idea why, but anyway, we're now up into P7, we're chasing down Bottas and Sainz, and that is a track limits warning that I could ill afford, so I want to watch out for that. We do not want to get too many of those. So P7 it is on lap 2, heading now to the chicane again, which will be gone for F1 2022. So I'm looking forward to driving Melbourne in its new configuration. That's going to be a lot of fun, I'm sure. But for now, we are chasing down Valtteri Bottas, who is chasing down Carlos Sainz. And there's a bit of a DRS train developing here, and Lando Norris is starting to close the gap on me. I had got up to about a second and a half to 2 seconds, but now the gap is coming down, so I really want to get this done. But the problem is, like I said, we are in a DRS train. There is no way through either side, and Melbourne, not really a circuit that traditionally is easy to overtake on, especially in this configuration. So for now, we're having to just bide our time behind the Mercedes. And Lando Norris is now starting to get close to me, so he's going to want to look at P7. And I just feel a little bit stuck here at the moment, but it's all in the long game. It is all in the long game, and my strategy is to pit early, get rid of these softs, and complete the race on mediums if I can. I don't know if they'll hang on. That's a Haas going very, very slowly. Again, seems to be every race there's at least one Haas dropping out. Prove me wrong. Anyway, we're now watching a Red Bull and Leclerc fighting. I think that's Max Verstappen going down the inside of Charles Leclerc and just absolutely seeing him off. He was not prepared for that move. Right. Back to me now, and I'm still behind Bottas. Daniel Ricciardo is now out of the session, so a dismal home race for Danny Rick. You see him just pulling off there. Right. Oh, we've gone wide into Prix. That is not what we can afford. We have gone very wide there, and that has now put Lando Norris right onto the back of me. And he might be thinking of having a little look down the inside here. I'm going to hold the racing line anyway, because I didn't think he was going to get close enough, but he might have just had a cheeky little look to see whether the move was on. Right, we've made our pit stop then. We have now made our one and only stop in the Australian Grand Prix, and we're now coming out. And I've also heard from Jeff that there is rain on the way, so I'm definitely happy to take the medium tyres now, because I only need to take them until the rain comes rather than the end of the race. Anyway, passing Zhou Guan Yu for P15, that was quite easy. I did get held up a little bit by the Williams on this lap though, and that may have compromised my chance for an undercut, but Bottas is slow out of the pits. We're going around the outside, we're fully up to speed, and that is a position gained on Valtteri Bottas. So we are legitimately now ahead of Bottas, as next up is Carlos Sainz and Pierre Gasly to be overtaken, and I'm really hoping I can get these quick now, because they're on the hard tyres, I'm on the mediums, so I really feel like there's a chance to push here and gain positions. I've got a little bit of a run on Carlos, but we're not quite close. We're going to have a dive down the inside anyway. I didn't think we were quite close enough, but we're going to do it. We did get the move done, but we went deep, and Carlos got a better exit, and as a result, he takes the place back. It was worth a look, but the problem is we went way too deep into the corner, and as a result, Carlos Sainz is able to get that place back. Meanwhile, Charles Leclerc is in the pits. Valtteri Bottas is getting very close to me again, wanting to have a look. But look how much more speed I've got on Carlos Sainz. I'm on heated up mediums. He's on cold hards that are still warming up. Anyway, we did get past Carlos Sainz, unseen by us due to an editing error. Again, I do apologise. Pierre Gasly up next, and again, I get better traction out of the last corner owing to the tyres I'm on. We're going to take a dive up the inside. No, we're not, because the safety car has come out. The safety car is being deployed. My question is then, why have we got a safety car? Oh, that's why. The Alpine there has got into the Red Bull, and the Red Bull was coming out of the pits, and he just did not see him or anticipate him at all, so that's a big mistake there. Right. Back to green flag racing, and we're going to have Pierre Gasly round the outside and braking late and sweeping round. We've got it done, but we didn't get out of on the exit as well as we could have. That might allow Gasly a look back, but we're going to just brake later and hopefully still make the corner. I gave him way too much space there. Right, ahead of me is Lando Norris, who's made huge gains under the safety car to move himself up into P4. So that's massively helped him out. And the safety car's back out again. Why is that? Right, we got Sonoda, who I believe is trying to pit, and the Williams was trying to overtake him. And that has ended with the AlphaTauri being spun round. Oh dear, that's a very strange incident, that. But now the safety car's coming in. It is clouding over. The rain is on its way. And we all know from Brazil, when it starts raining, that's when I'm starting to feel a little bit more confident about my chances around here. Right, tried to go around the outside of Norris. Norris has me covered, but we managed to get a better run. Is he going to be passable into Prix? He's gone very tight. We're going to go around the outside again. We'll have the inside for the next corner, and we just managed to shuffle Norris and get the move done up into P4. Next up is our championship nemesis in P3, and right now we are more than in position to take the title, with Leclerc being where he is. But obviously with rain coming, it is critical I get ahead of him, because if I get held up by waiting for him to change tyres, that's a lot of positions lost, and the title goes down to Saudi. But we have got past Leclerc, who offered very little resistance there. So I do wonder if he has a slight problem, because his pace just didn't seem to be existent in this stage of the race. In fact, the Red Bulls have pulled out massively. Right, into the pits to change tyres, because the rain is here. And we have gone on to the intermediates. And this is where it gets interesting. Both Red Bulls, incidentally, have elected to stay out, as has Lance Stroll, so this could get interesting. I don't know why both of the Red Bulls have chosen to stay out. They might not have thought it's time yet, but it clearly is time, especially with the stewards disabling DRS. Usually that's my cue to come in, and in fact they've already done that now, so... But Jeff called me in, and it was the right call, and you know what? I'm going to miss Jeff from the 2021 game, but because he's not going to be in the 2022 game. Right, Russell and Stroll now in the pits, and as a result, we have brought down the gap a little bit to George Russell here. It was up to about 5 seconds before we pitted, but now it's 2.5. Verstappen now leads owing to have not pitted, so he stayed out yet another lap, and he really suffered for that because he dropped outside of the top 5. Right. Catching George Russell for the lead now. This win is still on here. We could still take the win in this race, and what an incredible achievement that would be, to win the title with a race win.
18.5 seconds.
Right, lap 28. We're on the penultimate lap here. I want to try and get Russell as quick as I can, because we don't have long to do it. But I am right behind him now, and this is getting tense. Right then, a lap and a half to go. Can we get George Russell? I got very close, didn't it? Oh, a little bit sideways out of there. I really need to stay with him now as we approach the final lap of this Australian Grand Prix. Can I wrap the title up with a win? Leclerc has also dropped out of the top 5, so I don't know what he did. I think he got held up by my stop, so it was crucial that for my championship win that I was able to get ahead of him. But now we're on the last lap, and look at the run I've got on George Russell here. We've got a mega run. We're not quite close enough though, but I'm tempted to have a little dive up the inside here. We do have a dive, but there's contact and it doesn't quite get done, but we're able to keep the car in a straight line. Russell now down the inside. We've got the outside there. We're side by side, but Russell sweeps around my outside there, and we've not been able to get past, but we're sticking right behind him. Look how close it is, and I think Russell must have an issue with his car because he's very slow around there, and we're now able to take a look up the inside. Russell tries to cover down the inside on the last lap in inclement conditions. We have taken the lead of the Australian Grand Prix, and Russell, I did hear while having that battle, does have an issue with his car, so that is rotten luck to befall him right at the end of the race. That is great luck to befall us though, as we come round the final few corners of this race, and what a race it's been. We started 7th and we are coming round to win. Just one corner to go, and for the second time in this career mode, we are champion of the world. Come on!
Yes, 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 guys, yes! Come on, boys!
Enjoy it.
And so the celebrations begin, and well earned they are indeed. It may have looked simple at times, but as any racing driver will tell you, competing at this level, at the very top, is anything but simple. There's no catching them now then. We have a new World Drivers' Champion. Not just victory today then, but the championship as well. What a spectacular season they've had. Congratulations to the whole team. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
It's a heroic effort for any driver to race in conditions like these, and seeing them fight their way to the front was very special indeed. They were able to find all the grip, all the good lines, and had the confidence to get on the power to top it all off. That's what pushed them into first place here today.
The faces on our top 3 look so incredibly happy as they make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all.
Well, it might have looked easy at times this season, and I might have dominated the vast majority of it, but Leclerc's charge towards the end, wow, that was... It did keep me on my toes a little bit, but the championship is now wrapped up. Both titles are done, Drivers' and Constructors' Championship, and we've done that with a win. Russell getting second, Bottas third, Stroll an incredible result for Aston Martin in fourth, and Norris rounds out the top 5, and Callum Ilott for Williams gets the final point. And I do have to take my hat off. That's a good point for him to score. And yeah, well done Callum Ilott. Fair play to you, lad. So the standings then in this penultimate race, the championship gap is 54 points. I cannot be caught. Leclerc in second cannot be caught. The battle for third is still... I think that's pretty much wrapped up now. But it's still close for fourth. Verstappen and Gasly, either one of them could take it. Carlos Sainz in sixth and Ricciardo rounding out the top 10. So, yeah, that's all that's left to be said about the drivers standing. And in the constructors, well, we have massively, massively crushed the opposition here. We have left the vast majority of the opposition for dead. What a lineup we've had then with myself and Leclerc. What a season we've had. Right. So that was the Australian Grand Prix. Let us now move on as champions to the final race of Season 4. And for the first time in this career mode, I am pleased to say, welcome to Jeddah. The newest and fastest street circuit. Well, if you don't talk about Miami, because, well, it's not the fastest, but it is the newest, but that's not on this game yet. We don't discuss that. But anyway, welcome to Jeddah for the first installment in career mode and the final race of Season 4. I'm hoping it's going to be a good race, but as you'll see later, it didn't transpire that way. But for now, we are in qualifying, trying to get through to the second part and then subsequently the third part. And in fact, I think we've already done that, and I think we're in Q3 now. Norris currently setting the pole time. I'm currently in fourth, and I'm trying to improve my lap. I will say this, I do love driving this circuit. It's such a fun circuit to drive. IRL though, the circuit is something of a death trap. There is no such thing as a small accident in Jeddah, so we've really got to be precise in driving it to get the most out of it. Right then, where is this qualifying lap going to put us? Head hard on the brakes for the last corner. Turning in. Now it's all about the straight. We did get a great exit there, which will help us. And it is going to be P3 on the grid, I believe, for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix.
With qualifying finished,
yeah, it is
time to
P3
remind
and our
ourselves
teammate
of our
is
top three,
P7.
Russell,
The Red
Verstappen
Bulls
and
once
Joker.
again on the
Goodbye
front
for now
row.
then, but we're
Lando
really just
Norris
getting
in
started.
fourth.
Make sure
But
to...
here we go.
So here we are then, welcoming you today to one of the jewels of the Arab world, Jeddah. One of the biggest cities in Saudi Arabia, second only to Riyadh, gateway to Mecca, and one of the biggest ports in the region. And now, host to the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. An interesting circuit, this one, the newest on the Formula One calendar. And like most street circuits, it's sure to present the drivers with an interesting technical challenge. Some challenging turns for the drivers to negotiate as well. And at the same time, they're going to have to manage their tyres very carefully in this heat. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn one. So how do you keep out of trouble? It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. George Russell will begin today's event from pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Joker, Norris, Carlos Sainz, and Tsunoda. Leclerc, Ricciardo, Lundgaard, and Valtteri Bottas. Giovinazzi, Stroll, Pierre Gasly, and Vettel. Ocon, Mick Schumacher, Callum Ilott, and Nikita Mazepin. Latifi, Markelov, Schwartzman, and Guan Yu Zhou. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside.
Right then, for one last time in Season 4, it is lights out and away we go. We've got a bit of wheel spin off the start. Look at Russell getting defensive over Verstappen there. Norris down my inside trying to take P3. He has taken P3. And Tsunoda's on my outside, but we cover him off well. And Sainz right behind him, trying to look for a way past the AlphaTauri. The Red Bull's going almost side by side round there. That's a scary thought. So, Russell leading Verstappen with Norris in P3. I've gone wide there. I do not enjoy that first sector. But for now, we are in P4 and looking to see what we can make of this race. Gone a little bit deep there. Can we get Lando Norris at any point on this lap? I think we're going to have to wait till the last corner. And meanwhile, we're watching Charles Leclerc, who's got into Carlos Sainz. So Leclerc now having front wing damage. And it is just 2 by 2. Oh, an Alpine getting tagged and nearly losing it as well. But look at this traffic jam here. We're now watching Ricciardo trying to go down the inside of a Mercedes that I believe is Christian Lundgaard. They're side by side. Oh my day, I've never seen cars run side by side like that in Sector 2. That would just be a disaster waiting to happen. It is too hard to commentate on all this because there is so much going on. It looks like a NASCAR race with cars running 2 by 2 almost every corner, held up by Leclerc with front wing damage, which is not the start he'd want in the final race of this campaign. Just look at them all. Look at them all. It's just a traffic jam. It's like watching the M25. Look at it. I'm just wondering, is there anyone there? Is that Ferrari at the back? I think that's Schwartzman. Wow. So he's ending on disaster then by the looks of it. Are they gonna, is anyone going to have a look at Leclerc, or is the car just too OP for anyone to do so? I'm not sure. Let's have a look. What is going on? No, they're all just racing each other. So Leclerc is going to peel off into the pits now, I believe, to take his front wing. Right. This lot can now sort it out amongst themselves. I'm trying to look for the best angle to watch it from and see what everyone else's first corner is looking like. We're now riding on board with an Alfa Romeo who's been tagged by what I think... Oh no, that's the Haas being tagged by the Alfa Romeo. Another Alfa Romeo, sorry. And, well, Schwartzman getting caught up behind it. Right, lap 2. And this is when it all comes to an end for us. Because the engine
like
has failed.
I have to ask you to find a safe spot to retire. Sorry about that.
And that is not the way I would have wanted to end my very first race around Jeddah. So, yeah, I'm disappointed that I couldn't give you guys a good race round here. But there will be a Season 5, and Jeddah will close off Season 5 once again. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can have a better race than that one. But that's not how you'd want it to end. And that is, sadly, the ending of our Season 4 campaign.
Season then, but they can go into the winter with their heads held high after an emphatic victory here today. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team.
I tell you what, Red Bull finishing that race 1-2, sending out a firm warning for Season 5. Red Bull are looking very, very quick, and they have been towards the end of this season, so I tell you what, does that get you hyped for Season 5? I hope so. So, let's have a look at the final standings then. I win the title over Leclerc, 0 points for Joe H2O Racing in Saudi. Russell holds on to third, Verstappen takes the win and keeps fourth place. Gasly, an incredible season for him though, it cannot be understated. Fifth, Carlos Sainz doing an incredible job to carry the Ferrari team all season. Then it's Tsunoda, Norris, Bottas, Ricciardo in the top 10. Lundgaard, an impressive season for Mercedes, not too far off Bottas at all. But the biggest disappointment of the year, look at that, Schwartzman on 8 points, behind Callum Ilott in the Williams. Well, I can think of one driver that won't be retaining their drive for Season 5, but that's it for Season 4. Thank you for watching. Join me for the final season, premiering tomorrow.